Hello, good evening everyone. Our group will be presenting about Chapter 10 Supporting Business Decisions. First, about the reporters. Let me introduce myself, Dean Dimandal, and then the rest of my team, Carl Lopez, Tanya Mendoza, Mitch Panotes, and Dearden Santiago. Our team members have diverse experiences from the fields of banking, gaming, marketing, human resources, and private business. Our report outline is first, introduction to decision support systems, management information systems to optimization analysis, data mining for decision, support to knowledge management systems, business and artificial intelligence, scope and limitations, and lastly, developing expert systems and intelligent agents. Part 1, Introduction to Decision Support Systems. As companies migrate toward responsive e-business models, they're investing in new data-driven decision support application frameworks that help them respond rapidly to changing market conditions and customer needs. With the advance in technology, the intranets, and other web-enabled information technologies have significantly strengthened the role that information systems play in supporting the decision-making of every manager. There are three levels of managerial decision making. First is strategic management, wherein the board of directors and an executive committee of the CEO and top executives develop overall organizational goals, strategies, policies, and objectives as part of the strategic planning process. They also monitor the strategic performance of the organization and its overall direction in terms of its political, economic, and competitive business environment. Next level is the tactical management level, wherein we encounter the development of short and medium range plans, schedules, and budgets, specify the policies, procedures, and business objectives for the different subunits of the company. And lastly, allocate resources and monitor the performance of their organizational subunits, such as departments, divisions, teams, and various workgroups in a certain company or office. And lastly, the lowest level would be operational management, wherein we observe the creation of self directed teams in order to develop short range plans, such as weekly production schedules, and also direct the use of resources and the performance of tasks according to procedures and within budgets and schedules made for the team and work groups of the organization. Here we find an example in Figure 10.4 about the decision strategies used as well as its decision structure. These structures shall be later on discussed in the succeeding slides. An example that I want you to look at is structure management, wherein for an overall management decision, they should consider new business initiatives, company reorganization, the introduction of new products in the market, and endeavors of mergers and acquisitions. These kinds of decisions are to be borne by the top level of the company, as opposed to, for example, here in the operational side of the company, lower level managers can make the decision for cash management, credit management, production scheduling, to name a few. These kinds of decisions are borne by the lower levels of management, specific to their functions. Now we move on to the next slide, information quality. Information quality is very important because it provides data that will help managers and other decision makers to arrive at a plausible conclusion or decision or undertaking. We consider the time dimension, content dimension, and the form dimension, which will be discussed in the following slide. In terms of time dimension, we consider the timeliness, the currency, the frequency, and the time period, wherein information should be readily provided at the time when it is needed. It should be up to date and should be given as often as needed within a specific period, whether it be the past, present, and future. In terms of content dimension, we consider accuracy, relevance, completeness, conciseness, scope, and performance. Overall, it says that when we give or analyze information, it should be free from errors, should be related to the decision needed for a specific recipient and for a specific situation. All the information should be provided, and it should be focused and should reveal the performance by measuring activities accomplished, programs made, or resources accumulated by the company. And next would be the form dimension, wherein we consider clarity, wherein the information should be provided in a form that is easy to understand. Detail is information should be provided in detail or in a summary form, wherein at first glance or instance, the manager will be able to fully understand the situation at hand. Order is when information can be arranged in predetermined sequence. Presentation in media pertains to how visually stimulating and organized the data is when presented to the manager. A statement from the book says that companies have embraced the idea that decisions based on fact will consistently beat those based on gut, meaning that most decisions nowadays being undertaken by major companies are based on hard evidence or figures and not just on the gut feeling of their top or executive officials. Here we have an example of a dashboard. What exactly is a dashboard? Well, to put it in layman's term, that a dashboard is composed of several screens or boxes indicating the various performance in different perspectives of the company. Here, we can see different departments doing or showing their statistics or their numbers. And in theory, a CEO should be able to well determine which kind of department is underperforming and the reason behind it. Not that the manager is inefficient, but we have also to consider some factors that affects the production of a particular department. And it is expected that when these factors have been adequately addressed to, that particular department or that particular business is expected to be at par with the rest in order for the entire company to go forward. So basically, a dashboard provides an overall view of the entire situation or health of the company. Decision structure. There are three types of decision structures, that was as what I have mentioned and shared within the previous table. First is operational management. Operational management is structured and basically involves situations in which the procedures to follow can be specified in advance. An example is the inventory reorder decisions for most businesses. Second would be tactical or semi structured in nature. These are some decision procedures can be pre-specified but not enough to lead to a definite recommendation or decision. An example given is that decisions involved in starting a new line of business or major changes to employee benefits. And then lastly, decision structure is strategic management. Essentially, it is unstructured and they involve decision situations in which it is not possible to specify in advance most of the decision procedures to follow. An example that was given is most decisions related to long term strategy, such as what product should be developed over the next 5 years. Specifically, because when you say unstructured, that means there's no definite plan for the future because the future is affected by several factors that we cannot possibly foresee at the moment. But still, we have to plan. Just in case it happens, we do have a plan to move forward. Yes. Next is decision support trends. In the 1960s, decision started with a classical management information system. 10 years after, in the 1970s, decision support systems became formalized. In the 1980s, there emerged an executive information system, and towards the latter part of the 20th century, in the 1990s, the last or the fast pace of new information technologies like the PC, hardware and software suites, and others made the decision support available to lower levels of management, thus, the birth of business intelligence. What is business intelligence? Business intelligence is an overall perspective or decision by the company. It is composed of concepts and methods to improve business with the use of fact-based support systems. These fact-based support systems are the ones surrounding it. First, we have decision support systems, we have knowledge management systems, online analytical processing, we have data mining and management information systems. When put together all their information, we come up with one coherent business intelligence. And this business intelligence is what is being used by top executives and CEOs in formulating not only their strategies and goals, but also forecasting the upward or the downward trend of certain businesses, such a way that they will be able to mitigate losses or maximize interests or benefits in the long term. That is how important business intelligence is. Moving forward, we have the decision support system. What is it exactly? It is a computer-based information system that provides interactive information support to managers and business professionals during the decision-making process. We basically use the following models. First is analytical model. Second is specialized databases. Third is, third is decision makers' own insights and judgments. And lastly, there should be an interactive computer-based modeling process to support semi-structured business decisions. All of which, when combined together, makes a decision support system. So what is exactly a DSS? It is a software component that consists of models used in computational and analytical routines that mathematically express relationships among variables. Here we have an example wherein components of a web-enabled marketing decision support system is being used. Note further that the hardware, software, model data, and network resources are also involved. Consider these three as the sources of information: the legacy software, the web browser, and other softwares. Together, they use interface functions that are hyperlinked to a multimedia or 3D visualization. When this stage has been cleared and data passes from these three sources to here, they now move to the model management functions when they are being synthesized and analyzed by means of analytical modeling or statistical analyses. When we have all the figures here carefully digested, they go to a data management function wherein they try to extract data, validate them, sanitize or clean them, integrate them, eventually leading to replication. Once done, this information will trickle down to either an operational data, a market data, a sales data, or a customer account data. Here, data is being stored for the benefit of the entire company and to ensure continuity of the process, the goals, and the objectives set forth by the previous administration or by the previous board. Now we move on to part two, the management information systems to optimization analysis, which will be reported by the next presenter. Again, thank you once again for listening, and I do hope that you learned something. Cheers.